Hello everybody, welcome back to C9 Corvettes in beautiful sunny Sarasota, Florida. It's your Corvette buddy Lyle here to talk to you about more interesting, exciting, and hopefully helpful stuff. Today, we have a very special episode of our show where we're going to talk about how GM could possibly surpass the ZR1 and the ZR1X with the next iteration of the Corvette. There's going to be a lot of conversation and probably some controversy involved here, and I'm looking forward to your comments to help figure out what we think GM's going to do in the next Corvette. Really quickly, guys, we're at 95,000 subscribers at this point, only 5,000 subscribers away from our goal of 100,000. Please, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to like these videos, click the bell to get notifications when we put out new videos, and of course, subscribe to us. That is what really helps us, and it costs you nothing. So here we are entering the 2027 Corvette model year. And let's just take a moment and let me read down from the base Stingray all the way to the ZR1X what GM is cranking out right now. You got the base Stingray, which as of 2027 is getting the new LS6 engine, same one that's in the Grand Sport with 535 horsepower. That is the weakest Corvette you can buy, if you can call 535 horsepower weak. The Grand Sport X, which is replacing the E-Ray, also features the new LS6 engine. It is at 710 horsepower when you include the electric motor at the front. The Z06 is at 670 horses with that flat plane crank 5.5 liter V8. The ZR1, 1,064 horses. And of course the ZR1X, roughly 1,250 horsepower, including the hybrid front drive. So the big question I have for you is, how do they top that? I mean, where do you really go? At some point, you know, can they make more horsepower? Sure, but at what point is that just superfluous horsepower? I think they have basically 5 options. And this is where I really want you to pay attention, and I want your input on which you think is the most likely way that GM's going to go forward. Option number 1, the American hypercar. So taking what they've already done with the ZR1X and doing an even more exceptional exclusive model above that, maybe what they'll call the Zora that we've been hearing rumors about for years. You figure they're going to have the LT7 twin turbo V8, maybe a larger battery pack, more powerful front motors, carbon monocoque chassis instead of steel and aluminum, maybe. Advanced active aero, which is something that you see on the Mustang GTD and on some Porsches now. And a potential output of say 1,400 to 1,500 horses. That's great. The problem I see there is that in 2026, they only made about 270 ZR1Xs. Would a more expensive and therefore a more exclusive version of the car be worth the effort when it's really never going to bleed down to the Corvette faithful who actually work for a living or did work for a living? What do you think? Option number 2, as I see it, is the Corvette goes fully electric, or what I call brand suicide. You know, they could do a 4-motor, torque vectoring sub 2 second, 0 to 60 time, instant throttle response, electric hypercar. In fact, the concepts that they put out earlier this year that they came up with for the Corvette were exactly that. Here's the problem I see. It may be unavoidable one day, but the only way to do this now would be to offer an EV high-performance hypercar version alongside the normal internal combustion engine-based Corvettes. The E-Ray proved that the Corvette market isn't ready to convert. Even when it's just a hybrid for improved performance and all-wheel drive, it still didn't sell. The Corvette audience, as it is today, does not want that. And if you look at what Jaguar did with its brand, what Ferrari just did by releasing that $650,000 Luce, and with Porsche's reversal of their decision, they were going to go all electric, and they finally figured out that, well, people really like having a real internal combustion engine in a Porsche, and so they've slowed down and kind of reversed where they were going with the EVs. I don't think this is a viable option, although I'm sure at some point in the next generation or two, we're going to see at least a version of the Corvette that is completely electric. Option number 3 is probably my personal favorite, and here's why. I call it the return to lightweight philosophy, the less is more idea, kind of like you see on the more track-focused Porsche like the 911 GT3 RS and stuff like that. A naturally aspirated V8 around 700 horses, 2,800 to 3,000 pounds, no more than that. minimal electronics, and focused on driving purity rather than maximum power. So this would be kind of a back to basics car that didn't have all of the electronic doodaddery and all the screens and stuff, a purely driver focused car. As much as I love this, and that speaks to me and my generation, the potential problem I see is, are screens and electronic connectivity and convenience more important to current Corvette buyers than a pure driving experience? What do you think about that? I know what I feel, but what are your thoughts? Option number 4 is more of an evolutionary take, moving on to the C9 Corvette. What kinds of things could they do maintaining the basic structure and layout of the existing C8, which was revolutionary in and of itself by moving the engine to the back? You know, again, we can go with a more carbon intensive construction, hybrid powertrain, which we know works really well in the Corvette, add rear wheel steering to improve cornering and turn radius, active suspension changes, even AI assisted dynamics. Here's the thing. I think the only potential problem there is, because the C8 was a revolution and an evolution, because a lot of the C7 stuff made it to the C8, it just kind of got changed around where it was all located. Will the C9 be dramatically different, or a variation / improvement on the existing theme? What do you think? And finally, option number 5, Le Mans technology for the street, making a version of the Corvette that is basically race ready. The Z06 is a very track-focused car, as is the ZR1 and the ZR1X, but they aren't as track-focused as, say, the Mustang GTD or some of the almost factory-built race cars for the street that you can buy. You know, if they did a Corvette that had a race-derived suspension, active aerodynamics, advanced hybrid systems, adjustable aerodynamic balance focused on road course dominance, where this is a car for chasing lap times and actual competition around a road course. I love that idea. I think a spec racing Corvette series would be absolutely phenomenal. I guess my problem is, would a track-focused Corvette that is not comfortable to drive on regular surface streets, that is scraping over everything, that you're constantly having to deal with the problems of trying to drive a race car on a public road, is that going to find enough buyers to be viable in the market long term? I don't know. I'd love to see it, because I think that the GM is missing the boat by not offering a factory-built, stripped-down, you know, even if it's just a Z51 Stingray, but built for the track with a cage already, with everything. I think that's a huge miss that they're not doing it. But would that be something that, if it was modded to be both street and track, be too severe to be usable? So those are the 5 options I see, from my point of view, that GM has moving forward with the Corvette brand. If you guys think that there's other things I've missed, or if you think that there are things you can add to this conversation, please put it in the comments below. And I would like to get enough comments and enough back and forth to where I can do a follow-up video and kind of go over these 5 options again and see what percentage of you guys really liked one option or the other, and kind of do a vote on it. So if you want to vote for an option or a variation on one of these options, again, put it in the comments below. This is an open conversation, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you soon.